Barakta Yahweh, Barakta Yahushai, Barakta Yahweh, Barakta Yahushai, Barakta Yahweh, Barakta Yahushai, Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Bashem Kakadash. Dub honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Stone Well, and the Akim, preaching the gospel of Hamashiach Yahushai, sincerity and truth. This preliminary DC camp. We know the short lesson to edify the hopeful elect. Yeah, so you see on the screen what Esau has been up to, man. Alright, so you can read the title. It tells you about the transhumanist cashless connection. Alright, so the apostle Ramlab, used his valuable time to go into this topic, and he just beautifully, expressed what the scriptures had to say about this. And a lot of people, been debating that, oh, well, the mark of the beast is not the RFID microchip, it's the Christianity, it's an embargo, it's this, it's that. But now it's clear, what Esau's always been up to, man, to a lot of people that were not in the know. So they could clearly see that Esau's scheduling his society towards a cashless society. No more use of cash, no more use of so-called credit or debit cards. All right, no use of coins and all that stuff. No writing of checks. Yeah, so everything's gonna be digital, and that's why it's important, to be around the man of the Lord and to hearken unto what they have to say concerning prophecy.
Plantation owners when the commodities market went down.
You should not be surprised, when these things come to pass, because it's the spirits of the Lord. All right. So I'm going to get a quick precept. It's going to be from the book of Job. The book of Job, chapter 12, verse 22. Alright, Job chapter 12, verse 22. Alright, so it reads, He discovered deep things out of darkness, and bringeth out to light the shadow of darkness. Alright. Ooh, like you. Yep. So Job 12 and 22, he discovered deep things out of darkness, and bringeth out to light the shadow of death. Alright, so Esau is getting exposed on so many levels. You watch the news, you get to see all the shenanigans they've been up to. You go to alternative, news sites. You get more, more information about how Esau's system is being torn down. How the the pillars of his society is being demolished, so he could bring in his new order and attempt to enslave the Israelites, alright, so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, and that, in fact, the whole people upon the face of the earth. That's what his new orders are. So it's about, alright, enslavement, getting people implanted with a microchip, alright. So he has to force, the governments of the world to go along, because when no cash is being used anymore, all of a sudden they'll have to follow along, alright, because when America is viewed as the leader of the free world, everybody else will either, follow along or get left behind. So that's the position America enjoys. But Lord Yahweh Shai is taking that, that opportunity away from America. And when Esau sees the angels, he sees the chariots, he sees the books of prophecy coming to pass, he gets nervous and upset. Alright. So another precept is going to be from the book of Job chapter 5. I'm going to read from verse 12 to verse 16. Because it's very important to understand how the Lord is frustrating these Edomites, man, the elites, you know. So just imagine, folks got to put up the Constitution as, the rule of the playing field. And Esau's trying to get rid of it. He's trying to chip away at it, shut it down here and there. And he knows it's up for a rude awakening, because that's what he has built, to get into the seat of authority. Now he has to demolish it and put up something new to continue. But it's going to go against the will of the people, all right? So that's one of the reasons why, you're going to have a civil war here in Babylon, on the face of the earth. The government's going to have to battle their citizens, because of the, the plan for the new world order. All right. So Job chapter 5 verse 12, it says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right. And that's what the Lord's going to do. He's going to destroy their goals and their aspirations. All that they've been planning for hundreds of years. All their so-called projects. Projects for a new American century. And Agenda 21, Agenda 2020, Project Neum, or whatever they want to call it. It's all gonna be, scrapped by the Lord. All right. Verse 13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. All right, so it's going to be an abysmal, goal that they're going to think they're going to be able to achieve, because the Lord is going to interrupt them. All right, verse 14, they meet with darkness in the day and grope in the noonday as in the night. All right, so they're always scheming, behind people's back in the so-called, whatever you call it, the so-called resorts and so-called conference calls, on the so-called think tanks, how to find better ways of making their power stick, on how they could keep a stranglehold upon the people, Then verse 15 says, but he severed the poor from the sword, from their mouths, and from the hand of the mighty. All right. So when you see the angels start to interfere with Esau's programs and try to, they start to protect the elect and one third of the nation of Israel, then he know that he's lost the battle already. In fact, he already knows he's lost the battle as soon as he saw the prophets on the highways and byways throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, then it sees, the messages that Lord Shai is living, sending to him to let him know that he can't go on any longer beyond what the Lord has already set in stone. All right, and the Lord Shai, has some big surprise for the elect. How it's gonna start to reveal himself in these last days. All right. Verse 16, it says, so the poor had hope, all right, the elect have hope of the nation of Israel, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. All right, so there's nothing they're gonna be able to do to overthrow the gospel of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. There's nothing they're gonna be able to do to stop the message. All right, to stop the message of salvation, to prevent the elect and one third of Israel and the mixed multitude across the four corners of the earth from waking up. All right, because it's a Most High's program. All right, this is a Most High script, and you'd be surprised, man. How many Israelites this message has been reaching. All right. So another precept is going to be from the book of Sirach. Book of Sirach, chapter 27. verse 15. All right. So it says, the strife of the proud is bloodshedding, and their violence are grievous to the ear. All right. So you always got to see it when Esau is always trying to, get things done to extend his worship on the face of the earth, to cement his grip. It's always going to be pissing people off, man. The whole world is always going to be in uproars. Just like you read in the book of Proverbs. Let me just read it real quick. All right. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear true, the people mourn. All right, read it again. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear true, the people mourn. So you see these two Edomites on the screen. What's her name? Catherine, Austin Fitz, and David Knight. They're privy to what Esau is doing, but Edomites. And they're upset, they're pissed off. They're letting their audiences know what the government's been up to. The government that has been hijacked by all these, agents, agents of the elites, agents for the New World Order. All right, so you won't be surprised, man. When you hear that these folks have been killed by the elites, because they're gonna find whatever means necessary to shut down, the centers. All right, so that's why it's very, very important to stay, in the good mercies, the good graces of the Lord, so that way you will be able to stand, you'll be able to resist every trick in the book they want to throw at you. All right, because it's not really gonna be a physical battle; it's a spiritual battle. All right, so once you're able to build your faith on the words of Hamashiach Yahushua, you know that you've already won. All right, so let me just play the portion of this interview real quick.
Would sell their slaves west, and the banks could never.
All right, so you hear about that? She talk about slavery. All right, I would rewind it back a little bit.
And you have no physical sovereignty. Now, I don't think we need, if you look at the group of people who legalized usury in this country and did all the financial fraud, if you give them the ability to control your mind and your body, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, the fact that they are so focused on an ID, and the chip is part of that. But, Bill Gates, he had his ID 2020 that he's working on, wants to have it by this year. He did the project with MIT. They've got another project. The Federal Reserve is working with MIT to do a cashless cryptocurrency and so forth. So you've got all of these different things. When we're working with a cryptocurrency, you had Zuckerberg in his white paper for Libra offering as a carrot to all these different governments.
Yep, and that's Amalek for you, the so-called Jew. That's always what they care about. They always want to be the center of solution, and then they end up tanking the system. But we're never really going to see them stand up en masse here in America or across the four corners of the earth to resist what the elites are doing, because they understand what the game plan is, all right? But here and there, a little bit there, a little bit there, they still get a chance to speak up and protest. But they will never talk about what they are according to their identity as being the Edomites. All right, so it's always Amalek, man. Amalek, always Amalek behind the scenes causing trouble. Threatening politicians, threatening sheriffs, threatening police chiefs, threatening CEOs, and threatening people. If he doesn't get his way, he knows what he's gonna say and do. That's the world for you, all right. And the world is upset. That is the Amalekites on the top seat. But it's only the Lord that's gonna take them out of it, because He's the one that put them in there in the first place. All right, to reveal who they are according to the scriptures. All right.
It's like, well, you let me be the world's banker, I will give you a de facto global ID. And that's what this is all really about. And that's what slavery is about. Having.
Yep, just like what the Maya Angelou said. Before when he had that thought of becoming a super elite, the Rothschilds, the big boss of the Rothschilds says, give me control of nation's money, creating the nation's money, over a nation's money supply, and he doesn't care who makes the laws. And that's exactly what it's all about. It's about command and control. All right. So once you control the influences of the financial system, you're able to dictate the law. All right, because he knows how weak people are. These elites, they understand the principles of finances. That's why there's so much usury in the system. There's so much debt. All right, that the whole world is in darkness. The world is basically upside down. And just imagine what the Lord is going to come and do. When it's time for Him to take back ownership. Take back ownership and kick these elites out of power.
A number on you. You become part of their inventory. You become part of the Internet of Things, or the inventory of things.
So here, it's very interesting. I went back 2 years ago and really studied the economics of the slave trade, the African American slave trade. And I discovered that my theory is there were two reasons why they canceled it, David. One is the banks in London kept losing money because they would collateralize their loans with the slave, but then they couldn't perfect the collateral. They couldn't track the collateral. So the plantation owners, when the commodities market went down, would sell their slaves west, and the banks could never find them and perfect collateral. Now we're talking about digital technology, which will allow them to perfect collateral.
Yeah.
The other thing is they could never put down the Haitian rebellion. So, and several European armies went to Haiti to try, and they couldn't put it down, and they were afraid that would spread.
And that's the truth right there. But just to add more to that, just imagine when you have a supply of slaves, Jakes being transferred from the western coast of Africa to to the western hemisphere. Just imagine, the overabundance of capital, human labor. All right, so that means the market is going to be oversaturated. All right, and that means the price of slaves is going to go down. That's one reason why the elites had to shut down slavery on a physical level. As by the transport, the trading, the transfer from the western coast of Africa to the Americas. They had to shut it down because just imagine, man. You have off the book slaves and you had on the book slave. All right, so they're trying to control the market. And just imagine, man. Just imagine, you don't have enough money. This is, to protect your investments. All right, the insurance company got to protect themselves too. And the slave master's also looking to get cheap labor, and then is able to build up his capital, build up his farmland, harvest products, raw materials he could transform into finished goods, and then it makes a huge profit, and then it's able to pay down his loans and pay his his so-called overseers and all that. So it's all one thing that the elites understood, man, that when there's an abundance of laborers, things get the cost gets cheap, So they're trying to make a profit. That's exactly what the West was doing with the China. because when you use the Chinese, labor, labor force, they understand that they could get things done for cheaper than pay over here. When they have strict labor laws and all that stuff, when you send folks to China, folks working around the clock, to sell things, to have things at a lower price, at a lower cost to manufacture, and then you sell at a profit. That's basically the whole deal is. So I'll play the script, the video some more.
So now you're talking about a technology construct that can deal with those two problems. And I assure you, you and I know that there's been a lot of slavery going on covertly in a variety of different ways, including trafficking all over the world. The people who run this system believe in slavery. They practice slavery. And if you give them the technology to implement.
And that's one of the reasons why you have the U.S. Constitution, you have the 14th Amendment, all right? So you always understand that slavery, even though they say it was abolished, but it was not really abolished. It's just, what you call double speak.
And you allow them to do it. I mean, here's the thing. You're talking about very few people sneaking up on a very big herd. And so what we're watching with the magic virus is the on-off, trying to get the whole herd into the corral so they will do what you say. So you're trying to market slavery, and the question is, how can you make it look attractive? How can you make it look cool? How can you make it look fashionable? And how can it make you look like you're still going to have some kind of freedom when, in fact, you're not?
And that's universal basic income, which is what the stimulus check is. It really is. Hey, I've got a small check that I'll give you, but you don't need a job. And, you just be a free spirit. You can do whatever you want. If you want to work, oh, yeah, we'll let you work if you got the chip. But we're going to give you the cash so you don't have to worry about that. And that really is what they are corralling us into, and I think what they're conditioning us to. We've got about 1 in 5 people who are worried that they're not going to be able to make it to the next government handout. That's how rapidly they've created this kind of dependence and conditioning, just like you're conditioning, and training a wild animal.
And that's exactly what Esau's been doing. That's exactly what the elite's been planning for a long time. When you hear folks saying, they make more money being on welfare, being on unemployment than working, you understand the rationale behind it. They say, well, they don't need to be running around because they're getting all these government benefits. So just imagine why they always like to keep people poor. Once you get a better paying job and your government assistance, they rather, take away that assistance until you no longer qualify, and that you have to go back you have to cut back how much you're making to qualify. So that's the way it was designed. It's all one big experiment, one social experiment. And just imagine, folks that get trapped in it, and they're upset, they're nervous, they can't hold their families together, and then you understand the reason why, right? It's all a system of control, and the Lord is definitely unveiling Esau's trickery, all right? And now, small businesses are having a difficult time, making ends meet, because when people receive their unemployment check, they don't really want to come to work anymore for $12 an hour, $13 an hour, $14 an hour, because when they do the math, they see that they're making more, staying at home than working, and that's how people get trapped. That's how you trap animals, man. You get them used to source of food. So I'm going to read that book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 7. It says, the Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. All right, so trust in the Lord is exactly what's going to deliver you in the day of trouble, the time of Jacob's trouble. When you read Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, you have to understand, man, that when all hell breaks loose and folks are no longer receiving any benefits from the government, it's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be hard. All right. So verse 8 says, "But with an overrunning flood he will make an utter end of the place thereof." And where? The habitation of the elites is going to destroy the power structure. All right, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. So the Lord is coming after the elites. Whether the Edomites, Moabites, the Uncle Sambos of our nation, wherever, his enemies are on the face of the earth, is coming to get them. All right. Verse 9, "What do ye imagine against the Lord? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time." All right. So Esau's system is going to be destroyed by the Lord. And they're upset that the Lord is on his way to destroy their plans and, to frustrate their aspirations. Okay. So just imagine the wrath Esau is going to have against the children of the Lord, the backlash, because he wants his birthright. Right, Esau wants his birthright. Okay, but the Lord has already made it clear that it was already rejected before he was born. All right, so whatever they're going to try to do, it's not going to really make any impact on what the Lord has already said.
They are making us house pets.
I think you need to look at this from the bigger picture. And so if we're the billionaires and we're trying to optimize our position, how do you do that? Well, you shut down the small business and small enterprise economy. And as you shut it down, you arrange from the central banks 0% cost of capital, so the private equity firms and the big companies can grab all that market share. Now you've got a world of families and countries in a debt trap, and you've got them dependent, and hopefully that will help you to get them to do what they say, including giving their economic independence and resilience. Now, we don't.
And that's one reason, why the fight is going to get hot. When you see little children picking up arms, backing up their family members, and they're pressing that trigger like there's no tomorrow, man, you'd be surprised, man. Because it's no joke, man, when you see families stick together and go against the government, resist the government, you'll be, man, you'll be amazed. And that's what's coming to America, man. A lot of these folks that like to claim they're soldiers and SWAT team members and police officers, they're up for a rude awakening, man. Because once the people realize that they've been pushed against the wall, it's going to be, a circus of violence upon the earth, man. When you see that rude awakening, coming to fruition, you're going to be surprised, man. Crazy things going to happen upon the face of the earth, because it's going to be hard because people are upset. They're nervous. They don't feel appreciated. And what do you think is going to happen? When the oppressor comes and try to take away the little that they have. So it's what's going on, man. It's what's going on. Just like what happened to the family for the Ruby Ridge situation. Old man got pissed off, decided to stay home and not show up for court after his encounter with agents of the government. And him, slipping up and all that stuff. His family end up paying a huge price, and all these politicians had to play games as if they are concerned about his well-being. Because they know, man, that they already sold them out a long time ago. So just imagine, when you have more situations like that around the country. All right. So another precept is going to be from the book of Joel, chapter 3. All right, because the Lord is going to, shake the powers. It's going to shake the heavens. All right. So Joel chapter 3 verse 16, the Lord Yahweh Shemashai Shemakadesh also shall roll out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. And that's exactly what we're hoping and praying for. As men of the Lord, we're hoping and praying that the Lord, hurries up and deliver us from this impending doom, man. It's just unbearable to a lot of people, but you gotta have patience.
Have to do that. That's a choice, especially when you look at a lot of the mechanisms they're using to play this game are taxpayer financed. So in fact, we have mechanisms to take back control of the taxpayer financing if we choose. I was just watching, I don't know if you've seen the group Michigan Stands Up. We also have Ohio Stands Up. But you're seeing groups around the country who are really nailing in litigation what this is about. They understand what it's about. They don't want to give up their financial independence. And of course, they're trained not to take the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
And that's the point right there, man. They don't want to take the mark of the beast because they already know what it is. They know it's the RFID microchip, all right? And Jake will have to wake up, man, and stop playing games and stop thinking they can make it here in America just because they hear of the platinum plan from Trump. Yeah, Jake just has to wake up, man. That's exactly what we need to let them, be aware of. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 13. It says, meat for the belly and belly for the meat, but the Most High shall destroy both it and them. Alright, so our people that think that Babylon is going to be their main staple, that they don't have any other thing else besides Babylon, they're going to be destroyed, man, because they're stuck with a system. Alright, they think that what Esau's proposing for them is the end all be all, but the Lord is not about that. So he's going to have to demolish the system. And those that trust in America, those that trust in the image of the beast, they're going to be destroyed. Alright. Now the body is not for fornication, alright, but for the Lord. So as an Israelite, you can't trust in America. By you trusting in America, you're committing fornication. Alright. And the Lord for the body. Alright. I read that part one more time. Now the body is not for fornication, but for the Lord. And the Lord for the body. Alright. So the nation of Israel, you have to trust in the Lord here. When you see so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans and all these YouTube ads, whether on the TV or on the radio, campaigning for Trump, campaigning for Biden, trying to uplift the American spirit, that's fornication, and the Lord Shai is furious about that. Okay, so the Lord doesn't want that, that nonsense, to be established. So he has to shut it down. All right, verse 14. And the Most High had both raised up the Lord, and will also raise up us by his own power. All right. So the men of the Lord are going to they're going to be raised up by the Lord. So we could be in unity with him. All right. Verse 15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Hamashiach Yahushai? Shall I then take the members of Hamashiach Yahushai and make them the members of an harlot? The Most High forbid. All right. So the men of the Lord are not going to encourage our people to go along with Esau's system and uphold it. All right, encourage the men of the Lord to go along with Esau's program. That's not what the Lord has raised up his men to do. All right. It says, verse 16, what? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body? For two, he said, shall be one flesh. All right. And that's the issue, with our people. They always think that by then joining hands with Babylon, that they're going to have a brighter future, but they don't understand the Lord has something terrible for Babylon, all right, aka America, all right, the rulership structure of the elite Edomites around these heathen, all right. Then you can't, man. The Lord doesn't want our people to be joined with Esau, just like the you read in the book of Exodus chapter 20, it talks about the commandments, all right, talks about you should have no other power besides him, besides the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shema Kadesh. All right, the verse 17 says, but he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit. All right, so the Lord is not looking for our people to be one with this society. All right, but He's looking for us to be one with Him in spirit. All right, He doesn't want us to be in the flesh and join with this society. That's the reason why He's telling us to come out of her. All right, so that's the point that I can hope you've been edified. I pray the Lord that Shema Shabbat Shema Kadash continue to guide you and uphold you and strengthen your resolve, because you're gonna see how messed up society is very soon once this election is over. Yeah, so just pray that the Lord strengthens your faith and that you're able to withstand the darts, the fiery darts of the devil, and you don't have to give in to the system. Shalom.